Okay, we're on to the show and tell portion of the November 2021 meeting for the Hampton Ship Model Society. Who wants to go first? How about the newest member first? Joseph, you want to do your show and tell stuff? So, go ahead and bring it up here. And, spotlight it.
This is my 1/65 scale Bossa from Artesania Latina, a kit that they released maybe last year or early this year. We got it off eBay, and it's probably my 6th or so ship model. It's the biggest one by far, and so I've got the frame all built, as well as I've got maybe 75% of the planking done, maybe 2/3. And I started at the I don't know, right about here, as the instructions told me. And then I've been working up from both things there. And so I've got the, this is all in planks as of right now, but I'm working on getting that joined up. And this, I should have had a little bit more forethought when going into that, because now I'm having some trouble getting this joined together, but I'll get through that. And I guess the next thing after I finish the planking will be the gun ports. So I'm planning on staining it instead of painting. So, there you go.
What ship is that?
It's the Vasa, the Swedish warship that sank on its maiden on its sea trials camp. So.
And the real one is still on display.
Right. Thanks, Joseph. It's glad to finally have you here in person. Joseph has only been online and joined the club officially last month, so it's the first time we've seen him here in the museum. Tom Rogerios joined us online. I'm going to let him go next.
Hi, folks. We are at the National Lighthouse Museum. Both Bill and I. Okay, and this is our, we have 9 members from our club. And there's the Liverpool and the Medway Longboat, which I'm working on displays now.
And repair.
I'm working on the display. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mount it on cross beams, and then I'm going to lash it down like it's on the ship. I'm not going to, like I was saying before, I'm not going to be masting this. And here's Dapper Tom. And
Whose model is that?
time ago, that's the old model shipways kit.
Did you build that?
And this here is Hannah.
Tom, was the Dapper Tom your model?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, these are my models. This is
Okay.
Dapper Tom. Okay, Rich Lane, he's in our club. He's working on the Hesper. You can see that there. And this is the Willie Dunn. Okay, those are Rich's models. Here we got Mike Ellison. What are you working on, Mike?
The Misadventure RC
Okay,
flyer racing last one.
That looks sweet.
yeah. And over here is Mike's lobster smack. It's the blue jacket kit.
Yep.
That's nice. That
Yeah.
came out nice.
He did a very, very good job. The paint job is exquisite.
Thank you.
Okay. And you know this guy, this is Bill.
Hey, guys.
Hey, that's come a long way since we last saw it. That's awesome.
You remember the research you guys did for him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never done one.
Couldn't have done it without you guys.
Very impressive.
That's great.
And, you know, this is what he had to start from.
And before you leave, I just wanted to mention, it's nice to know a TV star, Greg.
Yeah. In the spirit of the NCAA's name, image, and likeness, I will be signing autographs later, nominal $5 each.
Island, if you could get one for me, I appreciate it.
Okay. Mason Logie.
Oh, is it Barry?
Okay. No, this is a Hampton Roads Club.
All right. Well, we'd love to have you guys come up and visit.
Well, Ryland's a member. He comes, he's all the time. Yeah. Steve Fletcher. Hi there. His model of the rattlesnake.
That's nice.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, it's been a while.
But yes.
And various boats in bottles.
He's a doctor, right?
How about this one here? Check out this.
Wow,
Oh,
nice.
that's funny. I like that.
All right. And Canderley.
That's interesting.
Okay. And if you've been on Model Ship World, you probably know this guy. This is Ken Whitehead with his scratch-built Providence.
Excellent work.
Nice, beautiful.
You guys got a couple modelers in that group.
Yeah, just a few. And this is Eric Marshall.
Hey, Eric.
Eric has the pinnace with him today, modified quite a bit.
I'm new at this.
Okay, he's working right now on the USS Perry. Ryland knows it's a kit. It's the Blue Jacket kit. And he won that kit as a door prize up at Joint Clubs. And here's Liverpool. You guys seen this many, many times.
Still looks amazing.
And that's about it.
What was the name of the museum that you're at again, please?
This is the National Lighthouse Museum. Something that not a lot of people realize is the whole lighthouse industry was controlled from Staten Island, from this very place. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go just take a real quick. They're trying to get into the building next door, okay, because they have a lot of expansion to do. Okay, right now it's just this one room, but they want to get to the building next door, which is something they're looking, trying to get done. And we're right next to the ferry terminal in New York. Let me just take you outside real quick. Okay. There's two Staten Island ferries. The repair dock is right over here. And we're just going to walk this way. Oh, by the way, this is the building that they want to try to get back into.
Windy day there.
Pretty windy out. Hang on, it'll just take me a few minutes. See this? Freighters coming under the Verrazano Bridge.
Oh, yeah.
The Lighthouse Museum does a lot of tours, various places up the Hudson, around Staten Island. It's pretty interesting. But hang on, just want to get to the skyline real quick. Okay, off in the distance, you can see Brooklyn. The thing that's crazy about the New York skyline now is that there are so many tall buildings that dwarf the Empire State Building. So. They shortened this pier, they closed part of this pier, so I don't know how much you're going to be able to see, but we'll see. Oh yeah, you can see it. Okay, you can see the Freedom Tower down there now. So that's Lower Manhattan. And to the right is Brooklyn. And you can see all of the tall buildings. That's, the skylines change quite a bit. Just pan around. And there you see the Verrazano. And that's it for my show and tell. This is all the construction that's going on in Staten Island right now. A lot of these buildings, like this building right here is brand new. They're not even finished with it yet. But these structures here, these brick structures here, this was all part of the National Lighthouse Association, whatever they called it. And you can see most of the buildings are abandoned. They're looking for a grant now to try and get into that larger building just behind it. Anyway, so that's it. I can stop screen sharing now. You guys can get back to the meeting. Sorry for taking so much time.
No, don't be sorry. It's great having you join us.
Okay.
I was just on Staten Island back in September, and I wish I had known that that was there. I would have visited. We went to the Noble Maritime Collection. Have you been there?
Oh, yeah, I've been there. That is a fantastic place. It really, really is.
It is.
Really, really is. You know, it's interesting. It's interesting because to get down here, you actually have to go down Bay Street, and then you have to turn like you're turning onto the ferry. And there's a right turn there going up into a driveway that says no turns or official vehicles only. But that's the way you got to go to get to this museum.
Well, you're official.
Anyway, thanks, guys, and have a good Thanksgiving, and I'll see you at the next meeting.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
Take care.
Thanks. All righty. Who'd like to go next? Our guest bring something? And my memory is just abominable. Rob, thank you. I remember the last name, not the first.
Kind of short off the side here.
You're active duty military, aren't you?
Yes, sir. So.
Is that your ship?
No, this one is not. So I started off this project for one of my buddies that I work with. This is going to be turned into the USS Normandy, CG-60. It was the ship that he was on deployment with. It's the old 98 model kit from Dragon from the Mobile Bay. And yeah, this kit has been nothing but warped parts and putty. I've had to use my wife's hair dryer quite a bit to heat up the parts, kind of bring the whole back into shape, so you can still kind of see it's a little crooked here on the side. See right here, this was a sheet of styrene that I had to put in because that walkway was completely caved in, and no matter how much I heated it up and tried to get it back out, I come back the next day and it's bound back in. So I finally decided to say, forget it and cut it off, put a new one in there. So what I got going on right now, pretty much getting all the base mounts that I need and the photo etch parts, so I can start the process of painting. I just got a little bit more work to do. Big thing that I just finished Thursday was getting the boat davit walks, the walkways put in. So we got the ladder wells leading up from main deck all the way up to the O3 level. Also got the one from the O3 level going up to the O4 to get to the aft deck house, where the aft spire rays are. You can see, bring it in a little closer. So here are the seamless base mounts, as well as the ready service lockers next to them. Got the various lifeboats attached as well.
So you don't have to worry about the handshake.
Gotcha. Perfect. Yeah, so you can see there's a lot of putty filling going on here. So the way that this model was
design is that the main mast was supposed to have the old air search radar, the Spiz 49, which would be on a platform that would hang off the back right here. And when CGs went through a modernization program, they decided that when those radars are honestly obsolete, especially with the new introduction of the Spook 9 Bravo, which is a combined air and surface search radar. So they got rid of the Spiz 49. So now the main mast is literally just a platform for Square 4, TACAN, IFF, and CEC. I'm gonna sit here just like so. Forward mast needs to go on as well. It's got the signal shack as well as the other arrays. This platform right here will be for the Spook 9 Bravo, and one right above it is for Spiz 73, which is just your general navigation radar. If anyone's got to be building a Ticonderoga cruiser at any point, I got this from my old ship. It's a list and a good reference thing for every single angle of the ship, so you can see how things are laid out. So it starts off with going on a forward picture, and then every 45 degrees it goes around the ship, getting something new, so you can see how things are supposed to be, what arrays go where. So besides that, it's really just a lot of veteran models, resin parts that are being added on to this. It's my buddy's name, so there you go. So far, because the kit's old, it does not include the 25 millimeter chain guns that go down on the heel pad. I also need the new Slick 32 mounts for electronic warfare. These are the new CWIS mounts that are now with the FLIR pods on the side. Also have the new Mark 45 62 caliber 5-inch guns. It's a new upgrade. Basically, the only thing that's really changed is just 30 inches added onto the barrel. And then this is honestly, I think the most important part. And I'm coming from the Aegis guy, so these are the FCS illuminators. The ones that came with the kit really looked like a satellite TV dish. These ones come with way more detail. So again, that stand out is fantastic for my guys in my community. But otherwise, yeah, this is the Normandy so far.
It's looking great. You're putting a lot of work into that.
Yeah.
Did it make a photo sensitive model?
Yes, I'm using a white incense model for the web set. Some parts in there I can use. Most of the time, it's a lot of the parts I can't, just because it's based off the old platform. So unfortunately, with that, I finished each model. It's my third one I'm doing for my shipmates. That I'm having extra trays just full of spare parts, which is always fantastic for another build. Thank you.
They pay you in beer.
I was an intern at Bath Island Works when that was being built. I was on board before it was commissioned.
I worked at Bath as well when that was being built.
That's awesome.
We were there at the same time? Didn't know that. Ah, cool.
90.
You were that guy.
1990.
All right. Who else? Yep. Go ahead. That was their summer of 88.
Gentlemen, how you doing? I'm Al Sutton, new member. Rob and I came in at the same time. Two things going on. One, I'm new to regular boat building, wood boat building. So I bought this on the internet, $12, so I could learn how to do wood. Instead of the bread and butter, this is more of a plank on frame or plank on bulkhead. I wanted to learn that. It's a good, cheap way to do it, and I'm thrifty. Second thing going on, several years ago, I was in England, and had the opportunity to go to Dean's Marine, the actual factory where the boats are produced, scale ships are produced. Got this fiberglass plastic, a little bit of wood. It was a fascinating boat, and I'd love to learn how to do radio control. And that'd be my eventual goal. You're welcome to look at this. I thought I had some catalogs from Dean's Marine, because they're very expensive and quite fascinating. Some very large boats, 5 feet in length, with the fiberglass hull similar to this. Of course, shipping is horrendous. I do have a little bit of a Dean's Marine catalog, but it's just a 1 page. And I have the price listing of some of them too. Now, I don't know if the list is in US dollars or British pounds. So you're welcome to look at this, and I find it fascinating. And I look forward to being with you guys and getting some advice on how to better build. Thank you.
Well, if you're interested in operating this thing, I have some experience in that area.
Okay. I will, definitely. Ready to go. Yes. Sounds good.
We also have a radio control club, Ford's Common. 10 or 12 people, so a lot of advice to be had there.
I live real close to Ford's Colony. My daughter lives there, so that'd be great. I don't want to get in touch.
Yeah, we started sales in the week.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right, shall we move back to this table?
I did that. That's a shame that we had to let Tom Ruggiero go. Because of what I'm gonna tell you about this thing.
Well, it's being recorded, so you can send them a link later. As a kind of thing where he won't be here to defend himself.
Yeah. Okay, this is progress today on the lighthouse tender beach. Okay. And the beach was stationed at the Staten Island facility where Tom is at today. So that's the connection. But the beach itself, let's see this.
Yep.
Is that? That's what she'll look like when she's finished. And beach was built in Newport News, Virginia. But the other shipyard, which nobody knows about. Down at the tip of Newport News on the heading out of the small bird harbor on the right, on the tip, where there's now a water treatment plant, was the Southern Shipyard Corporation. And, they were there for approximately 10 years. There's a group of investors in town that tried to capitalize on the emergency shipping board that was put together to build ships for World War I. And so they organized, they were a little late, and they ended up building some bridge piers for the original James River Bridge, some of the Coast Guard's 78-foot wooden cutters, and a couple of concrete barges and stuff. And this, here's I can tell, is the only steel ship that was ever built there. And it's 100 foot long, but it's basically, because it's a lighthouse tender, it's basically a motorized barge with accommodations. But this is the progress to date, and this will be the stern frame. Probably get put on the miles tomorrow. And progress of the bridge to date. This is going to be the form that I'm going to see the forward bulkhead of the bridge, lower the upper piece. But, that's what we had.
Shows that, right?
1/4.
Do a demo, Sean?
Yeah, just to show it how for today. Someday do actual tech talk on it. So this is my Canon Foundry. I'm nicknaming it. So I didn't make much progress on Siren, the model itself, but I decided to start working on the armament, and this is half the armament for Siren Shoot. Came with 16 24-pound carronades and 2 12 long pounders for stern chasers. And so the kit's cannons were very dismal at best. I don't even know why Model Shipway even puts them in there, because they don't represent cannon at all. They're just lumps of white metal. So I started researching on how to do the cannons, and most of the talks in at the NRG website, people buy Sirens cannons and then go out to England and get Aldercraft's 18-pounder carronades, which are about the right size for a 24-pounder in this scale. The carronades would have cost me about $130 to $140 to ship from England. And when I researched the Siren cannons, for a 12-pounder long gun for that era, it's a 9-foot cannon. And his cannons for this scale are about an 1/8 inch too short to represent a 9-foot cannon. So armed with not wanting to spend almost what I spent on the kit in just cannons, I decided to do research, and been researching for a number of years on how to mass produce cannons in a I won't say an easy way, because this isn't exactly easy, but in a way I could replicate a cannon to be exactly the same as I go through each one. And I finally found, well, John showed me several years ago a guy who's building on the Energy, or has finished it, a frigate, I think it's a frigate of the Sphinx, where he showed a couple pictures of his Unimat setup with this duplicator on it, but he didn't really go into much detail on it, and not enough for me to be able to replicate and do it. And this past year, searching on Ships and Scale, another gentleman who had a Unimat 3 actually showed a lot more photos and actually talked about it a little more. And for his, he has his bolted to the side of the Unimat 3. I went with more what I saw from the guy on the Sphinx. But the way he talked about it in the Ships and Scale, I was able to figure out how he did it, and so managed over the past month to replicate one. And so I have a duplicator that I put together. It's I went through a lot of trial and errors, and that's what the guy had mentioned in his article, that this is, you gotta, when you do something like this, you gotta expect to fail and learn from it. And I went through, I would say probably a dozen examples before I started getting into a rhythm where I could actually produce the same cannon the same way, and they mic out almost identical. But it's a lot of feel and it's a lot of play. I'll do a tech talk on it someday when I know I will be here and sign up for one where I'll actually go through it. I need a shop vac because this produces a lot of shadings. But I was able to set it up, and I can produce. I've got a, so this is the template. You got to make a template that sits here in the tray. And I got a feeler that comes in and it follows the template and then duplicates it onto the blank piece of brass. And
that just limits how far you can feed it.
Yep. And I just follow it. I feed it, backing it in and out, and I've got it down to where I can produce a carronade in about 30 to 40 minutes now, from the time I start to the time I finish it. The 12-pounder takes a lot longer. There's a lot more reinforcing rings. So it takes a little bit longer to go do it. It'd probably take me a couple hours to do a 12-pounder. That's half the armament. I did all my calculations and my creations of my templates in AutoCAD, printed them out, and then glued the templates onto the blank. And then I used a Dremel tool to rough carve out the blank. And then from there, use files to file it down to my shape. And like I said, the follower follows it. And it was trial and error. I used a brass follower the first time, and on my aluminum blank, it worked great. First time out the door, I made a cannon. I was pretty impressed with it. When I started trying to use brass, the brass I used was C290, which is a hard brass. It didn't work very well. One of the things that I found is you need to sort of, as you're dialing it in, feeling where that feeler is hitting the blank. So then you know exactly that you've made contact and you don't want to go any further. And on the brass feeler, I was starting to bend it because I wasn't quite feeling it on the hard brass. And then John turned me on to free machining brass, which is a C390, I think it is. 360, thank you. That I got off of eBay. And it made a world of difference. It's a lot softer and I can feel it. I switched out the brass feeler to a steel feeler, which John gave me some steel to make it out of. And I've been able to produce, those were produced this week. So I still have half the battery to do. I still, on the carronades, I gotta figure out a way to make a form so that I can mill out the top and the bottom of the knob so that I can then drill a hole for the elevation screw. Still have to put the lug in, and then the touch hole on the top. You look at the 12-pounder, I've got the trunnions in, it's a drilled hole through, soldered into place. And then I soldered a piece of brass on the top and then put a hole in it for the touch hole. So this is just about done. I milled a ring around the knob because I'm thinking in this particular model, I'm going to show the breech ropes seized around the knob instead of doing a breech ring where the line would feed through the ring instead. That's my, I think, attempt on this one. And then on the carronades, I'm actually going to put a breech ring in and feed the breech ropes on the carronades because that's how they were done. And that's my cannon foundry.
Awesome.
Did you ever take permission to make those for another person?
Probably not. Not for like a Wassa, no. I said that was a week doing those ones, and it takes quite a bit. I can understand why, some folks out there that do sell brass fittings cost a lot because that's the hours that it takes to do it.
Something like the Wassa. You really want to do is make one and then mold and
Right.
resin.
There's a mold guy behind you.
Of course, you have to it's like a hundred of 80 of those.
Yeah. I am contemplating building the Essex. It's something I've been working on for more than a decade. I've been in AutoCAD. I have the ship laid out, all of the frames and everything. I'm down to just a couple of camp frames to finish up. But I'm going to build it from the keel up as it was built. And 36 12-pounders is going to take a while to build. So yeah, that's a lot of work. I would probably charge double what I would have had to pay to get the carronades from England kind of deal, just for the amount of time it takes. I got $30 in brass just to be able to do just this kit. So.
And they probably do it on a small CNC or something.
Yeah, they probably do. In fact, Siren talked about how they can't do the carronades because a lot of people ask for it. And it's because they can't replicate it in CNC very well.
Just, it's not worth it for them, the dollar wise. And
Why is that? Why can't they?
I think it's just, the flats and everything that he said, it just, I think you could get down, obviously you could get down to CNC like this, but then there's still a tremendous amount of work to put the
Yeah.
lugs in. The Caldercraft model, the carronade, it has the lugs on it. They're not very good. They don't have the set screw in it because it's not that type of carronade, but to faithfully
Sure.
replicate sirens,
Yep.
he would want to do that. And in the article I read, that he said it's just not worth for him to do it. So, but equally, because I know that you do a lot of Shapeways stuff. In Shapeways, they do sell. There are guys out there that sell cannons in resin from Shapeway. I could have bought that set in plastic, but I'm trying to. I want wood and steel or brass in this case. So that's why I did this.
You said that the first aluminum barrel came out fine, but then you tried a hard brass and it didn't work. Can you elaborate on what?
It's too much pressure.
Yeah, it just the hard brass was harder for the cutter to cut into. I didn't have that feel of my following pointer of touching the gauge, because I mean I'm working with magnification. I don't know how much the headband I've got brings it up to magnification, but I got it as powerful as I can get it to be able to see, and I still can't see the follower actually hitting the template because I'm behind it, right? So my work is in front of me, the feeler's behind that. I can't see the feeler actually engaging. So I'm feeling it through the dial as I come in contact with it. I'm actually listening to the sound of the cutter hitting it, and I can tell when there's greater pressure. I can hear the sound a little bit different.
I can say something here. You make it a great job. You make it very different. I mean, it's complicated. It really do.
Yes, it is.
Because the real tracer has some kind of pressure on it. Some people use a spring which works so. We had one at work on a big machine. It was hydraulic. In other words, you put your hand in between, the thing was out through your hand. And so there was a lot of pressure with that. You can literally just throw in your feet and will follow the whole shape. You're doing everything by hand, everything is feet. That's why you only get you a few pieces. You have to do 100 cannons, you probably end up with
Yeah.
So he's doing a good job for his model. But it's a very complicated way of doing it.
It really is. I agree.
Yeah. So,
I would love to do it as CNC.
if
if
you're
I
gonna
would've
do
gotten
any
it.
kind of production, you either cast the thing. There are guys in Russia who do these metal casts, these old cannons with all the filigree on them. What do you call it, panels that they have this and that. But there's a guy that in Russia, he casts them. I don't know what he charges for it, but that would be the way to go. If you're going any kind of mass production.
And I agree. I mean, I thought about doing casting. In fact, I have an example where I took an aluminum one I made a number of years ago.
Glass, you know.
Oh, he does them in brass?
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's.
I don't have capability to do
Yeah,
casting in
there's a lot
brass.
more
I
heat.
can do it in Britannia. But I like the look of, eventually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pickle these.
The
in
big
black.
thing is you can say you did it yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a lot of satisfaction doing stuff yourself. That doesn't mean that some guys.
That's why we were in the hobby.
There's a lot of satisfaction on doing 20 of yourself, not so much 100.
That would be a challenge. Did you do any filing or sanding? Yeah, so I did. In fact, I got the tools that I use. Everything that I do to make these cannons, I brought in because it's not that much. I do have some fine jewelers files that, for the most part, when I can get to now, I've got to a point where I can actually feel it down through where I don't have to do much cleaning between the reinforcing rings.
But on the fore side of the barrel, the way the cutter is on this, it doesn't quite give me a 90 cut. It's giving me just a little bit of a shadow effect. On the aft side of the barrel, I can get a nice clean cut the way the cutter is made. So I take a file and I do a really quick hit to it to square that up. And then I've got various sandpapers depending on how that particular one barrel I pulled out. I'll use anywhere from 120 all the way up to 600. Every barrel is finished with 600 before I take it off the lathe. But I'll use a little bit of sandpaper to finish it. And then right where the knob is, I do use a very small round jeweler's file just to get in there, because I found that too much pressure on the cutter, if I go down to the diameter I'm supposed to in front of the knob, it'll snap off, and I snapped a couple of them. So I use a really fine jeweler's file to, when everything else is ready and I'm about ready to cut it off the lathe, I'll touch it with that file and get the roundness that I want. That kind of rounded curve where it comes off the breech end and comes into the knob. I get that little tight curve that I want. But everything else is almost the follower. There's scallops on the back of the breech, and I can get now feeding it. I can actually round them with the tool. I've gotten to a point where now I can actually do that, where I don't have to touch them up with the file like I did on probably the first couple that I did. But yeah, I do use more than just the cutter. I do use some filing and sanding, but it's just cleanup and polishing at that point. And then of course, when I do cut off the barrel, there's a little bit of slag in there that I touch up with a bigger file, and then some 220 grit sandpaper just to polish it up.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Do you use multiple cutting tools?
Just the one cutting tool.
Okay. And Greg, I didn't catch the presenter's name. Could you put it on chat for me so I can communicate, please?
Yep.
I've long wanted to do this, so this is a treat seeing you, your rig. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Anything else?
Do you ever worry that you are using more precision on your form than you use on the real panel?
No, not yet. Now you got it in my head, I might, but I'm sitting there tomorrow watching the football game and running a few more through. I might, that might go through my head a little bit, that I've tackled too much. Actually, I will tell you, I'll probably be thinking that when I start trying to mill the knobs down to get the flats, and then a small enough drill bit to just drill the screw. And I am seriously contemplating putting a screw in it. I haven't quite decided yet. Most of the ones that I've seen online, there is a screw on there, so I haven't quite figured out how to do that one yet. So,
Well, you do realize, Sean, they only make one cast the rest of them.
yes, in real life, they're cast. Yes, they are. But as I mentioned, I don't have a foundry where I could pour brass. My wife won't let me do that in the backyard. And I really like the look if I can achieve it. I've only done it to some portholes or waterway holes on the siren that came out all right when I blackened them. I like the look of the brass barrels when you blacken it and then polish them up. So there's just like on the high points around the reinforcing rings of the brass just shows through a little bit. And they said enough shine on it, which is not accurate. I looked at, but I like the look, and that's why I did it. Yeah, if you hear a swear word from all the way out into Hampton, you'll know that I gave up and I'm casting them in Virginia and just painting them at that point. But I'm still stuck on trying to make it work.
What do you use to blacken?
I just used, I got some blackening from Blue Jacket for brass. It was a 3-bottle kit. It was for Britannia, brass, and I can't remember what the third one. I don't know if it was for aluminum or not.
might have been a green material for copper, but actually the copper.
Just to put it in the back of your mind there, and should you decide to change, shift gears, you can cast resin casting, use bronze or brass powders to coat during the casting process, which is burnishable.
That sounds almost as complicated as doing this.
I'll show you how to make one.
Yeah, but, yeah.
What's your name on motion?
I don't have, I'm not on model. I mean, I am on model ship world, but I'm a stalker. I'm not, I didn't post.
Guys.
Yeah. I think I'm,
Plenty of Simon billboards.
yeah, there is quite a few, and that's where I got a lot of bad ideas from that. Like I said, it was just by chance that I saw the one on ships and scale, up until that point, I wasn't remembering how I am. And I found that article that finished adding the last couple pieces to the puzzle that I needed to create it. And I'm still way below what it cost me if I had bought it, except for the time.
I have a blackening solution. There's a company called Jax, Jax. And it tends, there's a bit of an art to getting the concentration and time right. If you don't do it right, it tends to flake off when you're done. So I'm not quite got that right, but it's easier to find than, it used to be blacken it was a popular thing, but I don't think you can get that anymore. I wasn't even aware of the Blue Jacket kit.
Birchwood Casey is another.
Is it? Okay.
I think I still have a bottle of black.
Yeah.
I used Blue Jacket slip. I didn't have a bottle of that in the bottle shop. First time.
Denby Hobby Shop had some the last time I was there, and he's closing the store at the end of March. So there'll probably be some values there.
All right.
Yeah.
They did buy that.
Yeah, good. But he doesn't know what they're gonna use the building for, really. And he's selling all the supplies and everything before they come in. Wow. I'm sorry, no, I shouldn't say that. He had a buyer. I wouldn't say this been contracted yet because he's a little shaky.
Next presenter. And is there any, Ryland's gonna go next. Is there anyone online? I don't want to forget you guys. No? Okay.
95% of the damage done to artifacts is done during transport.
I don't know how y'all pass these bottles around. But this is my Midway longboat ship. It's a kit by Chuck Pissarro, the Siren Ship Model Company. And this is, y'all have seen plenty of pictures over the years. Well, yeah, I guess over the years, really. This was about a 2-year project for me. It probably should have only taken about 6 months or less. But it's made of Alaskan yellow cedar. Used artist acrylic. I think it's called Grumbacher, medium red hue for the paint. And I probably got about 15 to 20 coats of paint on here. Very thin. It was a technique that Chuck Pissarro demonstrated to me many years ago. And it's got the Siren Ship Model Company rigging line. And the flag is made out of tissue paper. There was one in the kit. And I kind of messed that one up. So I had to print my own out of just regular tissue paper that we use at Christmas time. And it just, I used a fixative to try to shape it and try to get it to hang properly. But that's it. And it's a nice kit. And I got a build log on Model Ship World too on this. So if you go under my name, you'll see in my signature a link to this particular model. But nice kit.
Great job, Ryan.
Thank you, very good work. Very good
Finally
work.
got something finished.
Finally finished.
Anyone else?
I don't.
My turn then.
All
right, let me see where.
I'm waiting for
Are you
that.
still on?
Good job.
Screen share. Okay. No, my presentation is going to be in photographs because I do not have the model physically here.
Or do we have time for it?
You want to take a quick break? Sure, go ahead and I'll pull it up.
Is this a presentation? I thought you had.
No,
show and
no, this is
tell.
not the presentation. This is. my
But
show.
we can break if we need to.
I'm sorry.
He's doing picture show and tell because they didn't want to bring in his whole model.
Yeah, all right, where do I? Okay, I'm lost here for a second. Where I'm looking for my file. Where'd it go? Where-
be
There,
in that
okay, it should
read.
be in here somewhere.
Right. It's right on the screen there, devices removal storage D. Where it says 46.2.
Oh, there we go. All righty. All righty. This is the progress on my destroyer escort. It's been a while since I had it physically here, but let me get that out of the way. This is the current status of the boat today. For those that are unfamiliar, it's a 1/4 inch scale model of a Butler class destroyer escort from World War II. It's about 7 foot long. It's all scratch. And so what I've got so far, I've gotten all the railings done, the safety netting, and I started on the bridge, and that's the focus of my show and tell today. Okay, where do I go to move forward on it?
To the next picture, you can try the arrows.
Down there. Where am I?
No, on the keyboard is what you would like. Or maybe the right arrow. One of the
I
keys down.
probably only have it set up as a single, then I just need to, let me,
No, the photo viewer will go to one to the next. Might be that it won't go to the next one until you zoom out to full set. There you go. Now let's try it. Page down, maybe.
no.
Okay.
File, damn it. Oh, there's the photo view. Okay, all right. Duh. Okay.
I'm
It was
surprised.
hidden
that arrows-
behind, it was hidden all behind this thing here.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Oops, sorry about that. Yeah, how do I get rid of this down here? That's why it's hiding behind there.
You can try dragging it. It might move.
Like this.
Yeah.
There it is. Get rid of that. Okay, here we go. All righty. And recently I bought myself an endoscope camera just to kind of get some deck. Oh, for the model. Yes, for the modeling. So I can get some deck view pictures. So here are just here are a few shipboard photos of the boat, looking at various hatches and deck views. What was that?
It's insane. I feel like I'm on the ship. You're on the ship taking pictures.
Yeah, just some close-up pictures. I mean, you can get right down and see some of the details. And it's just one of the passageways with some of the things hanging on it. Yeah, the railing is made up of a couple of a telescopic micro tubing. And then to that, I soldered in eyelets and then cut the eyelets
splayed them apart so that it would simulate the hooks that the wire railing would be fed through. So you can see that there.
Yeah, right. You
Pardon?
made those all individually, right? You didn't-
Oh, yeah, no, each rail is made up of about, 8 pieces, 8, 10 pieces sometimes. And here's just the life raft. I'm looking kind of down the deck.
You had a question about the netting, Gene.
Yeah, I'll get to that.
Okay.
That's, yeah.
All right.
Just a couple of shipboard pictures. I want to get through some details that have not been seen before because I've been kind of whittling away at little pieces. Here's one of the 20s. That's one of the tubs.
Are those from kids?
The gun parts came from Shapeways for the most part. The shield and the sight I made, the shield is brass, photo etched brass. What I saved from the kit was the barrel and the stand. The rest of it I pretty much had to manufacture. This is an interior picture of a forward 5-inch gun.
When you say interior, does that mean you can't see it from the outside?
Well, yeah, this is looking in one of the doors through the turret. And then some of the turned signal lights and nav lights. The lens itself is turned out of an 1/8-inch piece of acrylic rod. And that's the stern, which is the right side up now. Okay. Why is it saving that? Move along.
Because you flipped, because you rotated it.
Oh, okay. And then in John's honor, I finally did put the draft marks on. So there they are. All right, leading into the next couple of pages, when we get onto the bridge, on the bridge was a portable, stowable, like chart table. They could raise and lower at will. And on the table, I wanted to put some charts and things. So I went snooping around on Google and found 1944 maps of Ulithi Atoll. That's called the anchorage diagram. So that's what I did. So I found that chart and this one depicting exactly where the boat would have been. I'm going to have to research through the logs that I have and see exactly which anchorage it stayed at, so I could highlight that on the map. And here is a picture of that chart table with the map and some pencils. Now this is a 1/4-inch scale, so the table's probably maybe about 1 inch, I would think. And the maps were decals I made from the drawings, put onto tinfoil so that I could drape it over the, and it would just hang off the edge of the table. And around the bridge, I started adding in some of the equipment, bells and whistles and radars and things of that nature.
You have
Whoops,
lights in the radar yet?
why does it do that? Not yet. What I'm going to do though, inside each of the, where it's black, but maybe not the radar itself, but certainly in some of the other instruments, they had dials and things. So I'll make some decals of the dials and things and stick them in the instruments. But I've got represents maybe about 2/3. There's a lot more little buttons and, bells and whistles that go on there. All of the ducting, the wiring that comes off the equipment will be strung down.
Where's the captain's chair?
There he is, right there, captain's chair.
So what do you do for a hobby?
So I drew inspiration from a lot of these pictures from actual photographs. I had a couple of them from the ship itself, period photographs. So that portion of the bridge will be accurate. The others were representative of the class, so I just had to take inspiration because there are no two pictures were the same. You know, equipment was swapped and moved and you know, all the time. This is a picture of an actual Butler class representing the radars and some of the wiring and the plumbing that will go in there. I opted not to have the open bridge, the door, because I just didn't want to go down that rabbit hole. But I had considered it.
I'm sure you did.
And this shows the chart table and some of the equipment in the background. Also a Butler class, but a slightly modified later Butler because this portion here, this structure here was changed as time went on. But this, you can see, shows the inspiration and what it ended up with.
You didn't put a cigarette on the edge of your table?
Oh yeah, no. When I put the dude on there, I have sailors, and one guy looks kind of like this, so I'm going to put him there. Yeah, I'll have a cigarette there. Don't worry.
You're gonna plumb artificial smoke to the end of the cigarettes?
That's right. That's right. That's right. And just some more, just close-ups using the newly acquired camera, which you can kind of get right in there. It's kind of neat. Gives you a different perspective of a model. So moving right along to the netting. The safety netting was a problem I had for a while because I couldn't find a source for the correct size net. I finally found some of this stuff at Joanne's Fabric. It's basically nylon screening, and it was just about the right size. It was a great find. Unfortunately, it comes oriented, you know, square. So I had to buy like, you know, 2 feet of it to be able to get a length diagonal long enough to span. So if anyone needs any screen, I have sufficient quantities.
See, it's the right size for my fishnet.
Yes, it could very well be. Could very well be. And since it is nylon, you can kind of heat it up and it'll just kind of deform and you know, form around different shapes if you want to do that. So basically, it's just the screen was, I put some masking tape on it because it made it a lot easier to cut, and just cut it to shape between the railing here at the bottom and the second wire. Then I etched some brass hoops, and these were glued onto the netting, cut out, and they form the access to the bollards and so forth, so that you can feed the wires, the hawsers and ropes through them. And then it was just a simple matter of gluing it on. I had several attempts at trying to attach that. First, I was going to try and actually sew it on, but that was problematic, to say the least, because it was also sewed along the bottom. I did make templates for a drilling guide to drill all those out, and I couldn't go there, just could not get there. So I simply just glued it on, and it worked out very well. On the back side, you can see it just kind of drapes along the inside, and then just glued to the underside of the railing, or to the ham wire. But what do you call it? The railing. So it turned out fairly nice, I think, in the end. And this is kind of another view of its current status. So next, I guess, once I finish the bridge, then I have to go ahead and flesh out the mast and then get to the rigging. And hopefully I'll have it done for, well, for February, for the show in Richmond.
How long have you been working?
Oh, maybe a little less than 2 years. I think I started at the beginning of last year. Yeah. And that takes us to the beginning again. If you haven't gotten totally bored yet, I have one other set of pictures here. Okay, how do I back out of this? Yeah, there we go. When I had taken the SS United States up to Connecticut, it had been it had to be uncased to take it up there. And since it was uncased, I took the opportunity to then take a bunch of pictures on the deck, and then jazz them up a little bit with some photo etch or Photoshop magic. So I have a few pictures of deck views of the United States, which is for those that are unfamiliar, is an 1/8 inch, 1/8 inch to the foot model. So it's about 10 feet long. So just some deck views, just showing some of the details that you might see from a perspective that only a camera like that would yield. So it's, you know, it's fun stuff to play with. So here you are down on the promenade deck, just taking in the views. There's not really much to say, but the pictures kind of speak for themselves. A lot of little scenarios going on around the boat. As you might expect. Oh yes, my favorite couple.
I like short videos.
Now this was a model, as everyone here knows, was long in the making and it's not very portable. So that's why I wanted to take the opportunity to take pictures like this when the case was off of it. These deck chairs are 3D printed. I had gotten what's his name, Model Monkey Larson to I sent him some photographs, and he was generous enough to generate the artwork. And the blankets on there are decals on tinfoil folded up and placed. And there were a few chairs, just a few. Unfortunately, they didn't come printed in color. I had to paint them all. So just life aboard the boat from a perspective you don't see very often in a model, because you just can't get your head down in there to see it. So just a couple more, and then we can take a break. Oh, there's another. Most of these figures are, well, actually all of them are, they're HO train scale figures, which worked out just about right. And that's a kind of a, that's a photo of it when it was, I think the sun was coming in the window or something before I put the case back on it. And that's the last one. Yes, I did. Yeah, it's scratch built, and actually it was, oh, I stopped sharing. Actually, I had designed it, and it is capable of running. It has all the motors and guts and smoke machines, everything inside. I just decided at some point during its construction not to run it. So rather than take everything out, I just sealed it up.
Love to see some kind of
Well, yeah.
When he started, they didn't make cameras or anything like that.
If you're interested, I can give you the URL from my website. On it, I have all the models that I built and fairly comprehensive log. Yeah. Sure. Well, that's it for the, oh, okay, there's just the pictures.
Well, there's a link to your page on here. So if you can get to our website, and you go to models, over to the right, you can filter by modelers. You just look for Gene in this drop down, Gene Berger, and then you'll get a list. One of them in the United States. You click on the link, you'll get here. And down at the bottom, there's a link to his page. So if we go there, he's got way more than I took the time to add to our page. His mantra is anything worth doing is worth overdoing. So there you go. That's how much there is. So got an idea? All right, I'm gonna stop the recording and we'll resume after a break for the presentation. Wait, I want to confirm one more time. There was no one online that wanted to show anything? Don, Mort, anyone else? Nope. Okay. All right. So see you in 10 or 15.